I have here with me the brand new Google Pixel 10 Pro XL. UPS dropped this off not 10 minutes ago. I ran straight down here to the basement, turned on all the lights, turned on the camera so that we can unbox this together. I haven't opened it, I haven't smelled it, I've done nothing to this box. It is fresh in here. So let's open it up together and see what we get. Now, full disclosure, Google did send me this review unit, and this video isn't going to be a deep dive or a review of any kind. This is just going to be a fun unboxing, enjoying the experience of opening up this phone, seeing what the first impressions are like. And these are probably some of my favorite videos to make because it feels almost like Christmas when you get a nice brand new package, something that nobody else has yet, and you get to be one of the first people in the world to open it up. That's pretty cool. So as you can see, the box is very similar to what we had last year. We got some Pixel branding on the side there. And on the back, it says we have the Google Pixel 10 Pro XL in the 256GB variant. And this is in the jade color. So let's open it up and see what it looks like. And here we go. Now, we already know not to expect much in these unboxings. We, of course, pretty much just get the phone, a USB-C to C cable, and over here we got some paperwork and just the SIM ejector tool, and that's pretty much it. Unboxings these days definitely aren't as exciting as they used to be, and I feel like the first company who actually brings back meaningful unboxings and throws a whole bunch of goodies in there is definitely going to be loved by the fans. But let's peel this open and see what it looks like. And here we go, the Google Pixel 10 Pro XL in the jade color. And it does also come in moonstone, porcelain, and obsidian. And this year it's retailing for $11.99. So we did get a $100 price hike, but to offset that, they did increase the base storage from 128GB to 256. So at least we have that. And I gotta say, looking at this moonstone color, this looks really, really cool. And I don't know what it is about Google phones, but they just feel so nice in the hand. It has this like soft touch material. I have no idea. No other phone gives me this feeling. Just when you're holding this, it feels so nice, so premium, and just really comfortable in the hand. You can see this is very similar to last year's Pixel phone. They do have a subtle change here at the bottom. We removed the SIM tray from the bottom, moved it up to the top right here. So now on the bottom, we have two downward firing speakers. So hopefully we'll have an improvement in the sound quality. And that just happened. On the side, we have the power button and the volume rocker below that. I don't love this about Google phones. I feel like this should be reversed. Maybe it's just me because I'm used to my Galaxy phone, and this phone has the power button on the bottom and the volume rocker on top. So it's the opposite. And every time I'm using a Google phone, I'm trying to lock the screen and I'm always just hitting the volume buttons. Maybe that's just a me problem. But otherwise, a very similar design to last year's Google Pixel phone. It's even got the same dimensions at 162.8 millimeters in height, 76.6 millimeters wide, and 8.5 millimeters thick, with a weight of 232 grams. And spec-wise, we of course have that jump from 128GB to 256GB base storage. You can get it up to 1 terabyte. 16GB of RAM, and of course the brand new Google Tensor G5 processor powering it all. And of course, a brand new feature that they brought here that everyone is super excited about is Pixel Snap, which is kind of like MagSafe for iPhone, where they have built-in magnets on the back so you can take your wireless power banks, other accessories like wallets, nightstands, whatever you have, and put it on the back of your phone, and you can see it attaches, starts charging. So if you wanted MagSafe for Android, thanks to Google, you now have it. Now, before we powered this on, they did also send this Google Pixel 10 Pro case on here. So let's open this up. It is a matching jade color. So let's see what this looks like. You can see it's got this kind of soft rubber material, and of course the magnets on here as well. So you can use all of those MagSafe accessories. And there you go. Got a nice little case on here. All right, so let's get this phone powered on. I'm gonna take 10 minutes to set this up, and then we'll be back to talk about everything else. Looks like there is an update available, so let's go ahead and get this updated. All right, we are back, and that update took forever, but you can see the phone is now set up. We are here on the main screen, and while we're on the main screen, let's talk about this display, because we have a 6.8-inch display, 1344 by 2992 resolution LTPO OLED display at 486 ppi. All this to say that this is pretty much the exact same display as last year's Pixel 9 Pro XL. The only one difference is it does get a little bit brighter at 2200 nits of HDR and a peak 3300 nits of brightness when outside. And with that LTPO technology, it does mean that this can go from 1 Hz all the way up to 120 Hz. So if you have a still image or you're just on your always on display, you're only going to be using 1 Hz, which is going to save you a lot of battery, but it can also go up to 120 Hz for that nice buttery smooth visual experience. Now let's talk cameras. And now this was a little bit surprising to me because it looks like Google did not make any camera improvements to the Pixel 10 Pro XL this year over last year's 9 Pro XL, which is definitely a little bit surprising to me because cameras are one of the most important things that people look for in a phone, and we'd like to at least see some minor improvements year over year. We're not expecting like a world of difference, but at least something. And it looks like this year Google just said, nah. I'm not even joking. I'm literally looking at the spec comparisons between last year's 9 Pro XL and this year's 10 Pro XL, and the cameras are literally exactly the same. The only difference is you can now zoom up to 100x on this one, but hardware-wise, there's been absolutely no change, which is definitely really strange. And I take cameras on my phone seriously. I am a YouTuber. I have DSLR cameras, but I will never go out in public with a point and shoot. The camera that I have in my pocket, my phone, is the most important camera to me. I capture all of my life moments on what I have in my pocket. But anyways, let's give these cameras a try and see what they look like. So we'll go into video mode, selfie mode, and what you're looking at right now is the front-facing camera of the Google Pixel 10 Pro XL. I have it in 4K, 30 FPS, HDR is off, and this is what it looks like. Let me know, does that look good? I know Android cameras are known to have the best video quality, but it looks pretty good. And this is the rear-facing camera on the Pixel 10 Pro XL. Let me know what it looks like. We have it in 4K 30 FPS. Again, HDR is off. We are filming on the main lens, the best lens. It is 50 megapixels. And this is what it looks like. I got my studio light in front of me. This is the only light source. Aside from that, this is a very dark room. But this is what it looks like. Let me know, does it look good or do Android cameras still suck? Now, I did do a poll on my YouTube channel asking you guys what's the most important thing to you when it comes to a new phone, and most people answered battery life. And you're gonna be happy here because the Pixel 10 Pro XL did get a bump in battery. We now have a 5200 milliamp battery up from 5060 on last year's generation. And wire charging is the same at 45 watts, but thanks to the Qi 2 charging that they put into here, wireless charging is now 25 watts. So we're gonna get faster wireless charging on here. So definitely a nice improvement if you're somebody like me and use a lot of wireless chargers in your car or even on your nightstand to charge overnight. This is definitely going to juice up your phone a little bit faster. One thing that I really like that Google does is they will match the wallpaper on your phone out of the box to the color of the phone that you actually bought. And you can see it looks really cool when everything is kind of in unison. But I do like to check out what wallpaper collections they have. So what we can do is long press on the home screen, go to wallpaper and styles, tap more wallpapers. And then you can see under collections, we have a whole bunch of stuff into here. We can go to the most recent ones called Contour. And this is what they look like. You can see we have the green ones right there that's already applied. And you can select any of these other colors. So let's try something maybe a little more colorful like this one. We can hit next, hit apply. Give it a second to apply, and there you go. You can see we have a cool new wallpaper. So that's pretty much the new Google Pixel 10 Pro XL out of the box. I know hardware-wise there isn't that much change. I guess we just live in a time where hardware doesn't advance much and they don't really do that much change year over year. We're seeing the same thing across all the other phones like Samsung, Apple. They're not doing much. Most of the changes are around software and AI. I know you're probably sick of hearing about AI, but that is just the reality that we live in right now. Everything is AI, AI, AI. And they did bring a lot of new features onto here. They've also made a lot of improvements to Gemini and a whole bunch of other AI stuff that I'm not going to go into detail in this video. It's just out of the scope of this initial impressions and unboxing video. So if you're curious to see how this phone stacks up against the competition like the Galaxy S25 Ultra, the iPhone 16 Pro Max, definitely be sure to subscribe for future videos to come. But that's gonna do it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.